Hi, it's David, and I'm back again with another question. Today's question is, will the Porsche Boxster ever become a true collectible? Now, on the surface, the answer is no. I mean, they're mass-produced, they're not a 911, and there you go. It's not a supercar, they're not the top of the lineup. So, on the surface, that's it, and it's done. Video over. Bye. But there are a few things that make it tempting that it could be a collectible at some point. Now, I'm not talking about it being a blue chip collectible. It's not going to be like a 918 Spyder or a 959 or even a 911, early 911. It's not going to be that. Maybe in 100 years, when there's no cars are outlawed, everything drives itself, it might be worth a lot of money then, but then every car might be worth a lot of money because they're just can't get them. But early Boxsters like this one, this is a 1999 and the Boxster came out in 97. Early Boxsters are cheap right now. You can get them as low as $5,000. That's a lot of car for $5,000. Sure, it's not the fastest in a straight line, but in the corners, it handles like a dream. I know a lot of people that do track days with their Boxsters or 911s, and a lot of the owners will say the Boxsters, especially the S models, will keep up with the 911s in the corners, and the 911 pulls away in the straight. And that makes a lot of sense with the mid-engine layout versus the rear engine. Now, the 911 has a definite traction advantage coming out of the corners, but there's a lot of wizardry in a 911 that needs to happen for it to handle well. So the early Boxster like this, like I said, you can get them as low as $5,000. Average price, you're probably going to pay about $7,000 to $8,000 for a well-maintained car with low mileage, and that's quite a bargain. It's not slow by any stretch of the imagination. Magazines at the time when it was released were able to clock it from 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds. In fact, I believe Motor Trend did 6 seconds flat, where the factory Porsche tends to be, unlike other manufacturers who tend to exaggerate a little bit, be a little optimistic on their 0 to 60 times, Porsche goes a little conservative, and the 0 to 60 time on this one is factory claimed 6.7 seconds, which doesn't sound that fast, but a lot of people are able to get it quicker. And this car is not for drag racing. It's not for stoplight to stoplight. Yes, you'll keep up with traffic. Yes, you'll go, but the car is really made for the corners. It's made to take on that back canyon road with the top down and just enjoy the sound of the exhaust beyond about 4,500 RPMs is just intoxicating. So Porsche recently, with the 718 Boxster, they recently have gone to turbocharged, but the bigger change is they got rid of the flat six. The flat six now only will still exist on the Spyder, the Boxster Spyder. So that's the one model that I think will be a blue chip investment. If you have a Boxster Spyder, they're produced in low enough numbers that there's going to be a market for that. You're going to get more for your Boxster Spyder when it's time to resale. And especially if the rumors are true with this latest Boxster Spyder. So the Boxster Spyder, the 981, had the 911 engine. The one before that had a slightly tuned Boxster engine that and lots of weight reduction. That's really the key. And the combination is brilliant. But then with the 911 base engine, it just takes it a little bit more, a little bit further. And now the rumor is the newest Boxster Spyder is going to have a GT3 engine. If that happens, that is going to be quite a car, and one that potentially could be worth a lot of money in the future. But outside of that, Boxster Spyder, maybe a couple special editions here and there, a Boxster is probably not going to be a huge collectible. I look at it more as like a 944 or a 914, where it takes some time for it to start going up in value. The 944s have already dipped as low as they can come, and they're going up. And in fact, the well-maintained 944s, which are rare to find, well-maintained cars in good condition, they're getting up there fairly high in price. Now, the cars that aren't maintained, which is most of them, need a lot of TLC. Those are still relatively low, but they have come up a few $1,000s as opposed to, say, 5 years ago. So in about 10 years, the Boxster will be 30. And at 30 years old, you probably hit the lowest depreciation you're going to get. So for about the next 5 to 10 years, expect the 986 to slowly depreciate. It's depreciated almost as much as it can. And I don't see it depreciating much more. However, it could get down to around the $2,500, $3,500 range for running models, but not necessarily the best model. Not models that need some care. The early Boxster has only 201 horsepower, the non-S model, and the S model came in 2000. It can hit a high speed of 149 miles per hour, which just shy of 150. So, top speed is not that bad. The S models are more rare and will normally fetch a little more money. The biggest thing keeping Boxsters down in price is the same problem that the 996 has, and that is the IMS bearing. The IMS bearing failure, if that happens, you pretty much have to get a new engine, and that's bad. Now, fortunately, there are a lot of retrofit fixes available on the market, and these early Boxsters actually have a dual bearing design, which is proven to be a lot more durable, less likely to fail, but it should be considered a maintenance part, one that when you do your clutch, even if you do one of the retrofits that are less likely to have an issue, it's probably a good time to do it again every time you do your clutch. Just maintain it, and also when you check your oil, you're going to need to look for little specks of metal. Make sure there's not a bunch of that in your oil filter, and that's just an added precaution so that you might catch it before your engine grenades. Now, having said that, at the prices these are currently, even if your engine blows, you could go and put a bigger engine in it. These can take, the early ones can take a 3.4 liter from a 911. Later ones can take the 3.8. Just depends on the year Boxster you have. And that's been done very successfully. So you could drive this if the engine blows for another 5 to 10,000, depending on where you get your engine, what year, and everything. You get another engine. If you buy an early Boxster, let's say even if you paid $5,000, the engine blows, and you put a $10,000 engine in it, you're still only paid $15,000 for that car in total. And you got one with a screaming engine in the back. Although there's other things you'll want to do once you get that 911 engine there, like the suspension and such. So the reason that the Boxster might be a collectible So let's first take a look at the 914. Why has 914, for many years it was the Porsche that was the cheapest, and that's partly due to the fact that it had a Volkswagen engine. But now all air-cooled Porsches have gone way up in value, and the 914 is no different. But you still can get some good deals on some, but they're getting up in price. Similar thing, the 944. The difference with the Boxster between the 914 and the 944 is it was 100% Porsche. From the front on, the fried egg headlights and all, with these early ones, from the front on, it just looks Porsche. It's a 911 in the front. It's exactly the same outside of a different bumper cover, and that's the big difference between styling from the doors forward of the 911 and the Boxster. So Porsche in the 718 Boxster and Cayman, they changed the power source. It's no longer a flat 6 that's naturally aspirated. Instead, it's a turbocharged flat 4. That's the reason why the early Boxsters and all Boxsters before it could end up growing in value. As Porsche's gone away from naturally aspirated engines in all but their GT cars and Boxster Spyder, the high performance cars are all that will continue to have naturally aspirated engines available. Outside of that, you've got a turbocharged. Even the 911 now is a lower displacement and turbocharged. The Boxster came in lower displacement and turbocharged. Now you get more horsepower and a lot of tunability that way, but you miss the emotion that the naturally aspirated sound gives you from these flat 6s. And a lot of people think the Boxster and Cayman 718s, while good, that they have a little bit of a Subaru kind of sound to them because of same kind of thing, turbocharged flat 4. Subaru's known for that. Because of that, it's kind of like when Porsche made the evolution from air-cooled to water-cooled. This is the first generation of water-cooled flat 6s on a mass level. The 959 had a water cooling element to it, but that, the average person, you couldn't even buy that in the United States without jumping through a million hoops. Ask Bill Gates about that. So while I think it's going to depreciate still, it's not too late to jump in. In fact, if you want to wait till the lowest depreciation, you could probably wait another 5 years before early Boxsters have depreciated the most they're going to. But in about 10 to 15 years, I think we're going to slowly see the prices start to increase. What that means is if you buy an early Boxster now, you will probably, in 15 years, you'll probably not lose much, if any, money on that car, outside of regular maintenance costs and providing nothing terrible goes wrong. And if you wait a little bit to buy one, you're probably going to not lose any money and potentially make a bit. Now, if you hold on to these for a while, see, the thing is that when a car like the 986 or Boxster, and that happened to the 944s, 914s, when they get cheap, people start racing them. When people start racing them, they take out the interior, they make it not street legal usually, or if it is street legal, you wouldn't want to drive it on a regular basis. And while that's great, they also start wrecking them sometimes. And as they're cheaper, once they get wrecked, they get in hands of less experienced drivers that oftentimes can't handle them, things of that nature as the prices go down. And you just end up with a bunch of cars in junkyards. So these were mass produced, so it will take a long time. The numbers of production for the Boxster is fairly high, but it will take a while till the prices come back up because of that. But if you keep seeing the trend of people racing them, the Boxster will end up being a collectible. Like I said, never a blue chip collectible, I don't think, outside of the Spyder, but I think it could in about 20 years. Now that's a long time. So if you buy it, you might be buying it to hand down to your children. But in about 20 years, I think it'll do the same as the 914 has done. After it hit 40, the prices really soared. I think that's kind of the key. So the earliest ones are only 20 years old. The one to get, if you just want to hold on to one that eventually will probably be worth the most money, is the 981 pre-718. That is the pinnacle of the naturally aspirated Boxster. And the performance, the styling, everything is better with that car outside of the electronic steering. This one still has the hydraulic, old-fashioned powered steering that you can feel the bumps. And in a car that's all about the curves, that kind of matters to you. So the Boxster, I think, will be a collector car. I just don't think it'll be top of the line collector car. So thanks for watching, and if you like this video, don't forget to thumbs up it. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, that's pretty much it.